and wholesale trading or commerce are specifically intended for profit. All this work takes place in towns and cities, also known as trading centers. The rise of trading from barter at the local level to money exchange or international scale has produced many centers and institutions such as trading centers or collection and distribution points. Trading centers may be divided into rural and urban marketing centers. Rural marketing centers cater to nearby settlements. These are quasi-urban centers. They serve as trading centers of the most rudimentary type. Here personal and professional services are not well developed. These form local collecting and distributing centers. Most of these have mandis, wholesale markets and also retailing areas. They are not urban centers per se but are significant centers for making available goods and services which are most frequently demanded by rural folk. Periodic markets in rural areas are found where there are no regular markets, and local periodic markets are organized at different temporal intervals. These may be weekly, bi-weekly markets from where people from the surrounding areas meet their temporarily accumulated demand. These markets are held on specified dates and move from one place to another. The shopkeepers thus remain busy on all the days while a large area is served by them. Urban marketing centers have more widely specialized urban services. They provide ordinary goods and services as well as many of the specialized goods and services required by people. Urban centers therefore offer manufactured goods as well as many specialized markets develop. Example markets for labor, housing, semi or finished product services of educational institutions and professionals such as teachers, lawyers, consultants, physicians, dentists and veterinary doctors are available. Retail trading services, this is the business activity concerned with the sale of goods directly to the consumers. Most of the retail trading takes place in fixed establishments or stores solely devoted to selling. Street peddling, hand carts, trucks, door-to-door, mail order, telephone, automobile, vending machines and internet are examples of non-store retail selling. These are non-store retail selling. All are retail selling but non-store. More on stores, consumer cooperatives are the first to the large-scale innovations in retailing. Departmental stores delegate the responsibility and authority to departmental heads for purchasing of commodities and for overseeing the sale in different sections of the stores. Chain stores are able to purchase merchandise most economically, often going so far as to direct the goods to be manufactured to their specification. They employ highly skilled specialists in many executive tasks. They have the ability to experiment in one store and apply the results to many. Wholesale trade services. Wholesale trading constitute bulk business through numerous intermediary merchants and supply houses and not through retail stores. Some large stores including chain stores are able to buy directly from the manufacturers. However, most retail stores procure supplies from an intermediary source. Wholesalers often extend credit to retail stores to such an extent that the retailer operates very largely on the wholesaler's capital. Transport and communication services. So transport is a service or facility by which persons, manufactured goods and property are physically carried from one location to another. It is an organized industry created to satisfy man's basic need of mobility. Modern society requires speedy and efficient transport systems to assist in the production, distribution and consumption of goods at every stage in this complex system. The value of the material is significantly enhanced by transportation. Transport distance can be measured as kilometer distance or actual distance of route length, or time distance or the time taken to travel on a particular route, and cost distance or the expense of traveling on a route. In selecting the mode of transport, distance in terms of time or cost is the determining factor. Isochron lines are drawn on a map to join places equal in terms of the time taken to reach them. तो ये isochron, ये टर्म याद रखना कि join the places taking equal time to travel. Network and accessibility. As transport system develop, different places are linked together to form a network. Networks are made up of nodes and links. A node or vertex is the meeting point of two or more routes, a point of origin, a point of destination, or any sizable town along a route. Every road that joins two nodes is called a link or edge. ये हमने जो ट्रांसपोर्ट जियोग्राफी में जो प्रैक्टिकल वाली पार्ट था वहाँ पर हमने पढ़ा था. key typology like tha. A developed network has many links, which means that places are well connected. Now, factors affecting transport services. Demand for transport is influenced by the size of population. The larger the population size, the greater is the demand for transport. Routes depend on location of cities, towns, villages, industrial centers, and raw materials, pattern of trade between them, nature of the landscape between them, type of climate, and funds available for overcoming obstacles along the length of the route. Now, communication services. So, communication services involve the transmission of words and messages, facts and ideas, the invention of writing preserved messages, and help to make communication dependent on means of transport. These were actually carried by hand, animals, boat, road, rail, and air. That is why all forms of transport are also referred to as lines of communication. Where the transport network is efficient, communications are easily disseminated. Certain developments such as mobile telephony and satellites have made communications independent of transport. All forms are not fully disassociated because of the cheapness of the older systems. Thus, very large volumes of mail continue to be handled by post offices all over the world. Some of the communication services are discussed below. Telecommunications. The use of telecommunications is linked to development of electrical technology. It has revolutionized communications because of the speed with which messages are sent. The time reduced is from weeks to minutes, and recent advancements like mobile telephony have made communication direct and instantaneous at any time and from anywhere. The telegraph, Morse code, and telex have almost become things of the past. Radio and television also help to relay news, pictures, and telephone calls to vast audiences around the world, and hence they are termed as mass media. They are vital for advertising and entertainment. Newspapers are able to cover events in all corners of the world. Satellite communication relays information of the Earth and from space. The internet has truly revolutionized the global communication system. Now, services. Services occur at many different levels. Some are geared to industry, some to people, and some to both industry and people. Example, the transport system. Low order services such as grocery, shops, and laundries are more common and widespread than high order services or more specialized ones like those of accountants, consultants, and physicians. Services are provided to individual consumers who can afford to pay for them. For example, the gardener, the launderers, and the barber do primarily physical labor. Teacher, lawyer, physician, musician, and others perform mental labor. Many services have now been regulated, making and maintaining highways and bridges, maintaining firefighting departments, and supplying or supervising education and customer care are among the important services often supervised or performed by governments or companies. State and union legislation have established corporations to supervise and control the marketing of such services as transport, telecommunication, energy, and water supply. Professional services are primarily healthcare, engineering, law, and management. The location of recreational and entertainment in services depends on the market. Multiplexes and restaurants might find location within or near the central business district, whereas a golf course would choose a site where land costs are lower than in the CBD. Informal or non-formal sector, personal services are made available to the people to facilitate their work in daily life. The workers migrate from rural areas in search of employment and are unskilled. They are employed in domestic services such as housekeepers, cooks, and gardeners. This segment of workers is unorganized. One such example in India is Mumbai's Dabbawala Tiffin service provided to about 1,75,000 customers all over the city. Dabbawala service in Mumbai. Achha. Now, people engaged in tertiary activity. Today, most people are service workers. Services are provided in all societies, but in more developed countries, a higher percentage of workers is employed in provision of services, in contrast to less than 10% in the less developed countries. In US, over 75% of workers are engaged in services. The trend in employment in this sector has been increasing, while it has remained unchanged or decreasing in the primary or secondary activity. Some selected examples. Tourism. Tourism is a travel undertaken for purposes of recreation rather than business. It has become the world's single largest tertiary activity in total registered jobs and total revenue. Besides, many local persons are employed to provide services like accommodation, meals, transport, entertainment, and special shops serving the tourist. Tourism fosters the growth of infrastructure industries, retail trading, and craft industries, souvenirs. In some regions, tourism is seasonal because the vacation period is dependent on favorable weather conditions, but many regions attract visitors all the year round. Tourist regions. The warmer places around the Mediterranean coast and the west coast of India are some of the popular tourist destinations in the world. Others include winter sports regions found mainly in mountainous areas and various scenic landscapes and national parks which are scattered. Historic towns also attract tourists because of the monument, heritage sites, and cultural activities. Factors affecting tourism demand. Since the last century, the demand for holidays has increased rapidly. Improvements in the standard of living and increased leisure time permit many more people to go on holidays for leisure. Transport. The opening up of tourist areas has been aided by improvement in transport facilities. Travel is easier by car with better road systems. More significant in recent years has been the expansion in air transport. For example, air travel allows one to travel anywhere in the world in a few hours of flying time from their homes. The advent of package holidays has reduced the costs. मेरे को नहीं लग रहा है कि ये बुक से EMRS या फिर BPSC में कुछ आने वाला है, बट स्टार्ट किया है तो एक बार मैं देख ले रहा हूँ. आप चाहे तो इस वीडियो को क्या है छोड़ सकते हो, ठीक है. मेरे को लग रहा है ऐसा. अगर आपका मन करे तो कंटिन्यू कर सकते हो, वरना आप छोड़ सकते हो. मेरे को नहीं लग रहा है कि कुछ खास चीज़ यहाँ से आने वाला है, और जो भी आएगा वो डेफिनेटली मतलब लो लेवल का क्वेश्चन होगा जो आपको आ जाएगा, ठीक है. तो टूरिस्ट अट्रैक्शंस के बारे में देखो. क्लाइमेट एक अट्रैक्शन हो सकता है. मोस्ट पीपल फ्रॉम कोल्डर रीजन्स एक्सपेक्ट टू हैव वार्म सनी वेदर फॉर बीच हॉलीडेज. दिस इज वन ऑफ द मेन रीजन्स फॉर द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ टूरिज्म इन साउदर्न यूरोप एंड द मेडिटेरेनियन लैंड्स. The Mediterranean climate offers almost consistently high temperatures than in other parts of Europe. Long hours of sunshine and low rainfall throughout the big holiday season. People taking winter holidays have specific climatic requirements, either higher temperatures than their own homelands or snow cover suitable for skiing. Landscape. Many people like to spend their holidays in an attractive environment, which often means mountains, lakes, spectacular sea coast, and landscapes not completely altered by man. History and art. The history and art of an area have potential attractiveness. People visit ancient and picturesque towns and archaeological sites and enjoy exploring castles, palaces, churches. Culture and economy. These attract tourists with the penchant for experiencing ethnic and local customs. Besides, a region provides for the needs of tourists at a cheap cost. It is likely to become very popular. Homestay has emerged as a profitable business, such as heritage homes in Goa, Madikir and Kurg in Karnataka. Empowered workers. Entrepreneurs are the empowered workers of the quaternary sector and the slowly emerging quinary sector. They represent an important stage of development in the hierarchy of economic activity, where the need for self-actualization is not motivated by wealth and security alone, but by the other factors. They have predominantly a value system which emphasizes quality of life and believe in creativity and individual values. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who do not read or write, but those who do not learn, relearn and unlearn. Alvin Toffler. तो ये रिसेंटली बाय द वे अच्छी बात है. देखो, लर्न, रीलर्न एंड अर्न. तो ये तीनों जो इम्पोर्टेंट टर्म है बहुत ज़रूरी है. मैंने रिसेंटली एमएड क्लास में सुना, मैडम ने बोल रहा था कि हाँ आपको काफ़ी मतलब ये करना होगा, आपको कि लर्न करना होगा, रीलर्न करना होगा और काफ़ी टाइम आपको अनलर्न भी करना होगा, क्योंकि हम गलत भी तो सीखते हैं ना. तो वो बात है. तो देखो यहाँ पर एक बहुत अच्छी कोट दिया गया है अल्विन टॉफलर के द्वारा. द इलिटरेट ऑफ द 21st century will not be those, because learning is so much easy today, right? Too much accessible, you can say. Education is accessible, so anyone can learn, just you need the will. So the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who do not read or write, but those who do not learn, relearn and unlearn. Okay, now where will it all lead to? Is this the beginning or the end? What next? अच्छा, तो इस लेवल का बात कर रहे हैं. देखो, प्राइमरी से स्टार्ट हुआ था, सेकेंडरी, देन टर्शरी, देन क्वार्टनरी, देन क्वीनरी. और भी कुछ है क्या, या फिर कब शेष होगा ऐसे पूछ रहा है. अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा मीम था, ठीक है. No one can be sure where all this change will lead to, but some patterns do point strongly to the future. As ideas and freedom of information and communication grow, people will expect their applications at the workplace. More employees will receive training and become highly skilled. They will work more and more on their own initiative. Many will have flexible working arrangements. Some will choose work, paid and unpaid, that is personally fulfilling and accords with their concern for natural environment and social issues. तो इसी को हम एम्पावर्ड वर्कर्स के नाम से बोल रहा है। आई थिंक यहाँ पर देखो, ठीक है, जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स है, क्योंकि इसको सिर्फ मतलब एंटरप्रेन्योर्स क्या सिर्फ प्रॉफिट के पीछे नहीं भागते ना, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स एक आइडिया के ऊपर वो काम करते हैं, जैसे एलन मस्क हो गया, रिस्क लेते हैं, जो प्रॉब्लम है उसको सॉल्व करने का सोचते हैं। अब डेफिनेटली वो इसका इंटरेस्ट है, स्पेस वगैरह जो भी है, आपको लग सकते हैं कि यार इसमें क्या हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है, तो वो अलग बात है ना, बट वो एक एंटरप्रेन्योर ऐसा कहते हैं। तो हमने यहाँ तक पढ़ी। अब देखते हैं क्वाटरनरी एक्टिविटीज। व्हाट डू ए CEO of an MNC in Copenhagen at New York and a medical transcriptionist at Bangalore have in common? All these people work in a segment of the service sector that is knowledge oriented, right? This sector can be divided into quaternary and quinary activities. Quaternary activities involve some of the following: the collection, production and dissemination of information, or even the production of information. Quaternary activities center around research, development, and may be seen as an advanced form of services involving specialized knowledge, technical skills, and administrative competence. The quaternary sector along with the tertiary sector has replaced all primary and secondary employment as the basis for economic growth. Over half of all workers in developed economies are in the knowledge sector, and there has been a very high growth in demand for the consumption of information based services, from mutual fund managers to tax consultants, software developers and statisticians, personnel working in office buildings, elementary schools and university classroom, hospitals and doctors' offices, theaters, accounting and brokerage firms all belong to this category of services. Like some of the tertiary functions, quaternary activities can also be outsourced. They are not tied to resources affected by the environment or necessarily localized by market. Quinary activities, the highest level of decision makers or policy makers perform quinary activities. These are subtly different from the knowledge based industries that the quinary sector in general deals with. Quinary activities are services that focus on the creation, rearrangement and interpretation of new and existing ideas, data interpretation and the use and evaluation of new technologies, often referred to as gold collar professionals. तो क्विनरी एक्टिविटी जो इसे हम गोल्ड कलर प्रोफेशनल भी बोलते हैं। और फिर क्वाटरनरी को क्या बोलते हैं, इसको मेंशन नहीं किया गया। आई थिंक क्वाटरनरी को बोलते हैं हम पिंक कलर बोलते हैं, ठीक है, पिंक कलर बोलते हैं आई थिंक। इसको देखना पड़ेगा, फिर एक बार चेक कर लेना कि क्वाटरनरी एक्टिविटीज़ में जो सीवेज जो होती है इसको हम कौन सी कलर में रखते हैं। ऐसा तो कुछ पढ़ा नहीं है ना यहाँ पर क्वाटरनरी के बारे में। जाए वही देखो, क्विनरी को हम गोल्ड कलर बोलते हैं। और प्रोफेशंस, दे रिप्रेजेंट अनदर सब डिविजन ऑफ द टर्शियरी सेक्टर रिप्रेजेंटिंग स्पेशल एंड हाईली पेड स्किल्स ऑफ सीनियर बिजनेस एग्जीक्यूटिव्स, गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स, रिसर्च साइंटिस्ट्स, फाइनेंशियल एंड लीगल कंसल्टेंट्स एटसेट्रा. Their importance in the structure of advanced economies far outweighs their numbers. Outsourcing has resulted in the opening up of a large number of call centers in India, China, Eastern Europe, Israel, Philippines, and Costa Rica. It has created new jobs in these countries. Outsourcing is coming to those countries where cheap and skilled workers are available. These are also out-migrating countries with the work available. Through outsourcing, the migration in these countries may calm down. Outsourcing countries are facing resistance from job seeking youths in their respective countries. The comparative advantage is the main reason for continuing outsourcing. New trends in quaternary services include knowledge processing outsourcing, KPO and home shoring. ये क्या होती है? The latter as an alternative to outsourcing. Outsourcing and home shoring. The KPO industry is distinct from business process outsourcing (BPO) as it involves more high-skilled workers. The BPO business process, KPO जो है knowledge processing outsourcing. The KPO industry is distinct from business processing outsourcing as it involves more skilled workers. So KPO workers are more skilled, not BPO workers, right? It is information driven knowledge outsourcing. KPO enables companies to create additional business opportunities. Examples of KPOs include research and development activities, e-learning, business research, intellectual property research, legal profession, and the banking sector. Outsourcing Outsourcing or contracting out is giving work to an outside agency to improve efficiency and reduce cost. When outsourcing involves transferring work to overseas locations, it is described by the term offshoring. Although both offshoring and outsourcing are used together, business activities that are outsourced include information technology, human resources, customer support, and call center services, and at times also manufacturing and engineering. Data processing is an IT-related service usually be carried out in Asian, East European, and African countries. In these countries, IT skilled staff with good English language skills are available at lower wages than those in the developed countries. There is a company in Hyderabad or Manila does work on a project based on GIS techniques for a country like USA or Japan. Overhead costs are also much lower, making it profitable to get job work carried out overseas, whether it is in India, China, or even a less populous country like Botswana in Africa. Therefore, एक चीज़ आपको नोट करने वाली यह है कि बिजनेस एक्टिविटी दैट आउटसोर्स इंक्लूड इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स, कस्टमर सपोर्ट एंड कॉल सेंटर सर्विसेज, एंड दैट टाइम्स ऑल्सो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड इंजीनियरिंग। तो ये मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड इंजीनियरिंग क्या होता है कि मान लो जो एक मोबाइल इंडिया में असेंबल किया जा रहा है, बट उसकी जो पार्ट्स है वो डिफरेंट कंट्रीज से आ रहा है। मान लो एप्पल का जो सॉफ्टवेयर वगैरह जो भी प्रोडक्ट वगैरह हो, पता नहीं मेरे को, बट उस मान लो कि वो जो पार्ट्स है एक एक, तो वो कंट्री से ले आकर, ठीक है, जहाँ उसका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो रहा है, सिर्फ मान लो चिप का कहीं मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो रहा है, ऐसे करके वो सारी चीज़ों को उसमें क्या है मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो रहा है, मतलब उसका आउटसोर्स हो गया। और एज इट एप्लीज यूएसए कंपनी, तो मान लो यूएसए में आकर वो सारी चीज़ों के असेंबल किया जा रहा है, तो ये हो गया आपका आउटसोर्सिंग ऑफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड इंजीनियरिंग। ऐसे होता है, आपको पता होगा ये, ठीक है। ये देखो, डिस्क्राइब द नेचर ऑफ वर्क अगेंस्ट ईच कलर नेम। यहाँ पर बहुत सारी चीज़ें दिए गए हैं। देखो, रेड, गोल्ड, वाइट, ग्रे, ब्लू, पिंक, बट हमने तो इतना पता ही नहीं है हमको। वाइट जो है सर्विस में होता है, गोल्ड आपने अभी पढ़ा कि क्वीनरी में होता है, ठीक, और रेड जो है एग्रीकल्चर में होता है, ब्लू होता है आपका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, आई थिंक पिंक मैंने बोला कि क्वाटरनरी में होगा, फिर ग्रे कहाँ पर होगा, क्या बाद गया, क्या रह गया, हमने एग्रीकल्चर कर ली, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग भी कर ली, और क्वाटरनरी क्वीनरी भी हो गया, और सर्विस तो हो गया। सर्विस मतलब ब्लू, सर्विस नहीं, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को ब्लू बोला ना, हाँ। फिर ग्रे कहाँ, ग्रे क्या होगा इसका बताओ। मेडिकल सर्विसेज फॉर ओवरसीज पेशेंट्स इन इंडिया, तो ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, आप बोल सकते हो कि हाँ ये आ सकता है। मेडिकल सर्विसेज फॉर ओवरसीज पेशेंट्स इन इंडिया, अबाउट 55,000 पेशेंट्स फ्रॉम यूएसए visited India in 2005 for treatment. This is still a small number compared with the millions of surgeries performed each year in the US healthcare systems. India has emerged as the leading country of medical tourism in the world. ठीक है, यहाँ पर लोग जो आते हैं वो टूरिज़्म, मेडिकल टूरिज़्म के लिए आता है, ना कि कोई सर्जरी कराने। तो ये बात आपको ध्यान रखने वाली बात है। World class hospitals located in metropolitan cities cater to patients all over the world. Medical tourism brings abundant benefits to developing countries like India, Thailand, Singapore, and Malaysia. Beyond medical tourism is the trend of outsourcing of medical tests and data interpretation. Hospitals in India, Switzerland, and Australia have been performing certain medical services, ranging from reading radiology images to interpreting magnetic resonance images, MRIs, and ultrasound tests. Outsourcing holds tremendous advantages for patients if it is focused on improving quality or providing specialized care. Medical tourism, when medical treatments is combined with international tourism activity, it lends itself to what is commonly known as medical tourism. देखो, मेडिकल टूरिज्म को डिफाइन किया गया कि व्हेन मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट इज कॉम्बाइंड विद इंटरनेशनल टूरिज्म एक्टिविटी, इट लेंड्स इटसेल्फ टू व्हाट इज कॉमनली नोन एज मेडिकल टूरिज्म। मतलब इंटरनेशनली आके कोई मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट कुछ हो रहा है तो वो मेडिकल टूरिज्म कहा जाएगा। द डिजिटल डिवाइड, अपॉर्चुनिटीज इमर्जिंग फ्रॉम द इंफॉर्मेशन एंड कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड डेवलपमेंट इज अनइवनली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड across the globe. There are wide-ranging economic, political, and social differences among countries. How quickly countries can provide ICT access and benefits to its citizens is the deciding factor. While developed countries in general have surged forward, the developing countries have lagged behind, and this is known as the digital divide. Similarly, digital divides exist within countries. For example, in a large country like India, Russia, it is inevitable that certain areas like metropolitan centers possess better connectivity and access to the digital world versus peripheral रूरल एरियाज। तो ऑब्वियसली सिटीज़ में जो है कनेक्शन अच्छी होती है, नेटवर्क कनेक्शन और डिजिटल कनेक्शन, ठीक है, रूरल एरियाज में उतना नहीं होते। वही बात यहाँ पर बोल रहा है, उसको हम डिजिटल डिवाइड के नाम से बोलते हैं। तो ये डिजिटल डिवाइड क्या है, ये आपका आ सकता है। फाइंड आउट द एक्टिविटीज ऑफ बीपीओ, ये अच्छी चीज़ है कि बीपीओ मतलब क्या है और केपीओ मतलब तो आपको पता चल गया है कि डिसीजन मेकिंग, रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट, ये सारे आपका केपीओ होती है। डिसीजन मेकिंग, नॉट डिसीजन मेकिंग बट रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट, ये सारा आपका केपीओज में आता है, ठीक है। जो एक बार देख लेते हैं। हाँ, केपीओ देखो, केपीओ जो है क्रिएट एडिशनल बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटीज। एग्जांपल्स ऑफ केपीओज इंक्लूड रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट, ई लर्निंग, बिजनेस रिसर्च, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी रिसर्च, मतलब सारे रिसर्च के साथ रिलेटेड है, ठीक है। तो वो आपका केपीओ हो गया। और बीपीओ बिजनेस प्रोसेस आउटसोर्सिंग, तो ये बिजनेस को रन करने के लिए जो सर्विस दिया जाता है वो बिजनेस प्रोसेस में आता है, ठीक है। ऐसा कुछ कह सकते हो, बट ये आप सर्च करके देखो कि फाइंड आउट एक्टिविटी जॉब है बीपीओ, व्हाट आप बीपीओ डू, और लाइक दैट, सर्च लाइक दैट, ओके, यू विल गेट इट। Okay, so we have reached to the chapter 8 and this is about transport and communication. So I think I will pause this video here because it is getting longer and longer. It will then I will face difficulty during uploading it, so I am stopping this video, and in a new video I will complete the 8, 9 and 10 or 3 chapters more are there to complete this book. Okay, so thank you friends, thanks for watching, thanks for listening actually. ओके, यहाँ पर स्टॉप करते हैं।